Linda Miller. Linda's first visit to a Toastmasters club was at the Orlando Conquerors Club. Painfully shy at the time, Linda was quickly assigned her mentor, who was the late DTM Barbara Bergstrom. Linda soon realized that Barbara was no joke. Her mantra was absolutely no notes. Be prepared to know your speech inside and out. As a tribute to her mentor, DTM Barbara Bergstrom, and to also give her icebreaker speech, please welcome Toastmaster Linda Miller.
When you look at the world through rose-colored glasses, red flags are harder to be seen. Good morning, fellow Toastmasters and guests.
Good morning. Good morning.
I have had a constant companion in my life. She is my twin sister. We were born 9 minutes apart. And through complications at childbirth, my sister was born mentally disabled. Growing up with a sister who has had emotional and IQ setbacks could sometimes be extremely challenging. Though Laura has always had the ability to see life through rose-colored glasses, with one exception. I remember this day vividly. I remember walking down the street with her. The smell of fresh cut grass and the earth around us. We could even hear a faint Rolling Stones song playing in the near background from somebody's car. We were the tender age of 9, getting ready to go to a water park with our camp. We were so excited. But as we got closer to the restroom, we noticed a large group of boys ahead of us on their bikes. One of them actually looked really familiar, almost as if I had seen him at our house with my older brother. When we approached the restroom, this same group of boys circled us on their bikes. I remember feeling sick to my stomach because I didn't understand why they were so close to us. And as I looked at every single one of them, I could see anger in their eyes. Fellow Toastmasters, if you've never experienced an adrenaline rush that is so profound that you literally have no time to think, but only to react, this was my moment. That boy who stood out in that crowd of boys pulled out a knife and held it to my sister's chest. I pushed that boy away from her with such force that when he finally stood up, he struck me so hard with his fist that I could barely catch my breath. I don't even know how I managed to pull her into the restroom with me and lock the door behind us. And for what seemed like an eternity, all we heard was the constant pounding of their fist outside the door, rocks being hurled at a window, and a constant barrage of insults. Your family lives in a shack. You should all be on welfare. Your sister is mentally retarded. And your brother, he's a drug addict. They continued relentlessly for about 45 minutes until a maintenance man came and finally saved the day. I'm sure all you were wondering, the same thing I was all those years. Whatever happens to boys like that? Like, what do they become later on in their life? Well, as fate would have it, one day I was in a hardware store picking up some lock boxes, and I caught a glimpse of a very familiar face. It was a set of cold, dark, distant eyes that left a permanent impression in my mind. I remember standing right next to him, staring at the back of his head. I was also looking down, and I noticed a garden tool with a sharp, jagged edge. And for a split second, I almost lost my sanity. But instead, I didn't want to end up on the evening news, of course. So I had a private conversation in my head about what I wanted to say to this man at this point in my life. The first thought was, when you decided to place a sharp knife at my sister's chest, I bet you had no idea how resilient and unaffected she is today. And yes, she is mentally disabled, but she is not haunted by perhaps all of the things that you have going on in your head. Your statement about us living in a shack, that shack was our childhood home with so much love and memories that a child could only hope to have. And no, we were not on welfare, but instead my mother worked 3 jobs to support us and put food on our table. And that is the same role model that I have today in my life. Your comment about my brother being on drugs, that part was true. Sadly, he passed away some years ago, but he no longer battles addiction, unlike yourself. I do want to thank you for something today, though. It's because of you that I have a whole new respect for the word safety. As a realtor, I always use extreme caution when I am out there in the public. And as a mother, I have thoroughly educated my daughter on having eyes in the back of her head at all times. One final thought before we part ways, and I can finally stop fantasizing about this garden tool. I would like for you to know the true meaning of the term wearing rose-colored glasses. And what that means is promise, happiness, optimism, a strong belief that everything will turn out well. And you know, they actually have. Because my sister and I, to this day, we continue to wear our rose-colored glasses. Mr. Toastmaster.
Bravo, bravo.
Timer, does everybody qualify?
Oh my gosh. People number 1 did, 2 did, 3 did, and Orlando did 2.
All right, everybody.
So, yeah, somehow just one of those.
Yes. Please pick one to vote for. People in the room, send your votes to John Nucitelli. People on Zoom, send your votes to Lillian Kettleman. As we move over to our evaluation portion of the meeting. Carlos Benitez is your master evaluator. Carlos practices SWOT method,